My name is Bella, and I am 35 years old. I live in a quiet suburb where the trees are tall and the neighbors are friendly, or so they seem. For a long time, I believed that I had built a perfect life. I had a lovely home, a great job as a graphic designer, and a loving husband. At least, that is what I thought until my world was turned upside down when I discovered that my husband, Marcus, had been cheating on me with a woman half my age. The day I found that out was the day I lost everything I believed in. It felt as though the ground beneath my feet had crumbled away, leaving me stranded in a vast, dark abyss. My heart ached, and for months I could not eat or sleep, consumed by the betrayal. As I filed for divorce, I felt like a ghost in my own home, suffocated by memories I could not escape. While Marcus moved on to greener pastures, I became his shadow, struggling to reclaim my identity in the chaos he left behind. I was determined to be more than just the jilted wife, and that determination ignited a fire within me. Caught off guard by my painful reality, I decided I wanted revenge. Not the over-the-top, dramatic kind you see in movies, but something subtle yet impactful. My first plan was to make my appearance strikingly different. I started exercising, changed my hair from a dull brown to a vibrant red, and invested in a new wardrobe that screamed confidence and independence. When I walked into the coffee shop where Marcus always met his new girlfriend, I wanted him to see me, and I wanted him to realize what he lost. But as fate would have it, instead of feeling empowered, I felt even smaller. I overheard him laughing with her, watching them flirt and tease, and a wave of despair washed over me. I was the one who had once filled his life with joy, yet here I was, invisible in my own heartache. I left the shop feeling defeated, realizing I had put so much energy into faking happiness rather than confronting my emotions head-on. Determined to not let my initial efforts hinder my thirst for payback, I devised a second plan. I learned that Marcus had a passion for cycling. He was often seen riding around the neighborhood, a cycling group his new girlfriend was now a part of. I decided that I would join that cycling group too. I practiced every evening, sharpening my skills until I was confident enough to join them. The first meet was nerve-wracking, and I felt like a fish out of water. As I pedaled alongside the others, my heart raced, and I found myself shadowing Marcus from a distance, observing him and his new relationship closely. I wanted to dance in the exhilaration of the thrill, but instead, I found myself tangled in my own web of self-doubt and sadness. Each time he laughed or touched her, it felt like daggers piercing through my heart. I finally gathered the courage to confront him after the group ride, demanding answers for all the pain he had caused me. But all I received was an indifferent shrug. That day, I felt utterly defeated. It became clearer that tearing into his world would do little to heal my own wounds. With an overwhelming sense of despair, I hit rock bottom, believing I would never pull myself out from under the thick cloud of betrayal. After a few sleepless nights and countless tears shed into my pillow, I resolved to regroup and find a more effective plan for my revenge. A friend of mine, Lisa, encouraged me to focus not just on revenge, but on rediscovering my true self. As I began to embrace activities that filled me with joy, like painting and volunteering, I sparked a deeper sense of purpose. My perspective shifted, and the desire for revenge transformed into a quest for self-empowerment. Although I was still haunted by Marcus, I was becoming stronger, finally learning how to stand up for myself, rather than dwelling in the shadows of a past that no longer defined me. In a moment of clarity, I came up with my boldest plan yet. I decided to organize a community art show, showcasing my artwork and inviting everyone I knew, including Marcus, to attend. I poured months of hard work into this event, crafting pieces that represented my rebirth and newfound strength. When the day finally arrived, I felt a mix of anticipation and dread. Would he show? Would he realize what he lost? The moment he walked through those doors with his girlfriend, I could see his brows raise in surprise. I greeted him with a smile, warm but distant, inviting him to admire the pieces on display. As he wandered through the gallery, my heart pounded. This was my moment, and I finally had the attention I craved. I steadied myself, knowing I was beautiful and thriving without him. With each piece he examined, I could see the recognition dawn in his eyes, a painful understanding of the depths of my talent. As the night progressed, I listened with glee as several attendees complimented my work, sharing their admiration. And then the moment came when I finally approached Marcus. I thanked him for being my muse, sharing with him the story behind each piece, every brushstroke infused with pain and empowerment. However, it was the final artwork, a vivid depiction of a phoenix rising from the ashes that left him speechless. He looked into my eyes, and for the briefest moment, I saw a flicker of regret. It was as if a door was closing and I was finally stepping through to embrace a new dawn, one where I was no longer living in his shadow. As I stood there, I realized that my revenge had transformed into my salvation. Instead of destroying him, I had rebuilt myself, reclaiming my identity and my happiness. I left the event feeling lighter, the burden of the past evaporating into the night air. Life began to unfold in front of me in ways I never imagined, and I promised myself that I would find joy without tethering it to Marcus. I was free. The unexpected twist came when I received a message from his girlfriend months later, a genuine compliment about my artwork and how it had inspired her to start creating. Instead of feeling angry, I found myself smiling. In the end, my journey had become less about revenge and more about healing, growth, and embracing who I was meant to be. I realized in this new chapter of my life, my greatest revenge was that I had learned to love myself again.